Fellow Clueless gamers, hello, and welcome back to our Cluecast. I think this is our 5th episode this week, which is exciting. I'm Nemesis, or Travis Crawford, joined by my good friend, Luke Car17, or Luke Carmichael. Luke, man, what you been playing this week?
Well, I've been playing a whole lot of video editing, if that was a video game.
That's not a video game, Luke.
Just kidding. The only game I played this week was, actually, this is funny, I played every single one of my games at one point this week. You know, sometimes I get into this, thing where I'm like, I don't know what I want to play. I literally went through all, 13 of my games. I played from Batman Arkham Knight to FIFA 16. I played everything. And then I played Battlefield 4 with you a little bit. But no, I didn't. I was imagining that. I played that by myself.
While I was testing out Call of Duty's new terrible maps.
Yes, that's exactly right. What about you, Travis? What you been playing this week?
Well, I've been playing a little bit of Duty, as you are probably surprised by. And like I said, I was hoping to enjoy the new maps, but I've not done that yet so far. I've just had nothing but bad experiences with game modes that are popular, but they're actually the game types nobody even play on Call of Duty, which is super annoying, and not to mention people glitching through walls and super annoying. I'm just hoping the zombies is better.
I hope so.
That's
too.
mainly the reason why I wasted my $15. If the zombies is bad too, then I'm going to feel really smart for not wasting $50 on the season pass.
Yeah.
Other than that, this is going to sound a little different and kind of good for this episode, as we're going to be talking a little bit about microtransactions later on. But I've been grinding some Clash of Clans here on my phone this week a little bit, trying to get up to that 3,200 trophy range and get 2,000 free gems.
Oh my gosh, man.
It's been a struggle, dude. I'm going to be honest with you. And part of the struggle is something that I'll use to strengthen my argument against microtransactions later. So, yeah, this episode, it's going to be a little different from previous Cluecast because we don't have a singular topic to talk about. We're basically going to be talking about a little bit of the latest from Bungie, the developer, and the state of microtransactions and single-player story games.
Yes, single-player story games and how they suck these days.
They definitely seem to be fading, so, well.
Yeah. So, anyways, this week, Bungie, and let me get you guys aware of what's going on right now. Destiny makes me want to throw up when I think about it, and that's only because I don't know. I can't tell you guys why. I don't have anything against Destiny or Bungie.
I sat there and thought about that a little bit ago today. If somebody were to ask me right now what is so wrong with Bungie or Destiny, I really just can't even put my finger on it. It's just everything that has gone on since the Taken King's launch has sort of just left a bad taste in my mouth, and it is hard to put your finger on it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't have an actual reason to be upset with them right now, other than Destiny 2 is not coming out, and the game's just old to me now.
Well, yeah, lack of content, the delay when they've virtually not really done anything since. When did the Taken King come out? I don't even remember.
November? September? I don't remember. It was forever ago,
it was like September, and it just feels like they've not done much, and their little time off, dark period of time where they just went under the radar, it didn't do them any favors, in my opinion. It just pretty well made everyone more upset with them than they were.
Yeah, and
which
is
even super
funny.
funny.
Yeah, it wasn't even like they came out and said something, cool is coming out. They were just like, yeah.
Oh yeah, they teased it. They made it like it was like a big campaign that was going to drop out, like something you better get excited for it.
Yeah, then
gotta wait till February, guys.
Exactly. But anyways, so other than that, let's explain what actually happened. So Bungie went ahead and sent out an email to its player base / community asking
yeah, those are registered on Bungie.net, I believe.
Yeah, I got one of these emails, and it said why aren't you playing Bungie? Why aren't you playing Destiny? Basically, is what they were getting at. What's making you either not play or what is making you continue to play? Essentially, they basically are like, well, crap, a lot of people are really mad, and we don't really know why, even though everyone's telling them why on Twitter. But
and Reddit.
and Reddit.
I mean, you
oh
look
goodness,
at Reddit. Reddit is on fire,
there's
like constantly.
it's like a dictionary of things that could change. They could just look at that. So they send this email out, and it's just sad, man. Like, so they just got a new president this week too. Bungie did. I'm sure you knew that, right?
Yes, sir.
So I don't know if this is something under his, jurisdiction. Like, all right, guys, we're gonna figure this out, and we're gonna start fresh. So that could be good. Honestly, we could be getting something fresh from them. It could be just a, scientific method to like figure out, specifically why people aren't, based on if they actually answer those. I just deleted the email immediately. So I don't know how many people are gonna do that, but I could just be a bad community member.
Well, wasn't there like a Likert scale, like on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being you're not having any fun playing Destiny, and 5 being
very fun,
you're having tons of fun?
Yes,
very fun. What would you say? What would be the number you would have given them if you'd have participated?
I would have just gave them a big fat 0, because I don't even play it anymore, because it's not because it's
I'm
not
with you too.
And
this isn't to be like negative and bash Bungie or Destiny, because we know it's potentially a great game.
Yes.
We've put a lot of hours and love into the game. But as of right now, if I'd opened that email today, I'd have put a big fat 1.
Yeah, same, man. I'd put a 1, honestly. Today I would.
Because today it is literally a chore to play it.
Yeah.
And I was in the Forever 29 days, and I'm not going to the Forever 310 teens days.
320 days? Gosh, man. Like, are you kidding me? If I do another Nightfall, waste an hour and a half with you to do it, and then get a freaking ghost, like, that's it. I'm breaking the disc in half. It's just a waste of time.
It is.
Give us, like, some sort of way to get all the end game content easily. Like, I don't want to grind for a whole year on the same exact content to finally get the end game that I should have got 3 months ago.
Yeah, I appreciate the grind. I do.
Yeah.
A lot, but it doesn't even feel like a grind. It's just like it's literally becomes a chore and a job to take a roll at something, to take a chance
exactly.
to get something.
Exactly.
That's like beating your head up against the wall and wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that has a casual gaming experience and has things they need to do are just going to quit.
They're going to pick up Call of Duty, a game where they can play for 35 minutes and be
instant
happy.
gratification.
Exactly.
Instant gratification.
You get that gratification.
There are people that's been spending 3 months, 6 months on the Taken King and still aren't 320.
Yep.
That's why I quit. That's why I stopped playing, because I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
So in light of Bungie sending this email out and the change of CEO and the fact that community manager Deej sent out a tweet, I'm unsure if it's still on his Twitter. He may have deleted it since then, but somebody basically said something from the Reddit and tweeted it at Deej saying, are you guys planning on implementing anything that is in this community creations thing? And he's like, you know what? We know that the community is and always has been part of the solution. We just slipped a little bit.
Yeah. They know what they did. They're just trying to I feel as if like Bungie right now is like rebuilding off of. I feel like something could have maybe happened inside, but honestly, new president, Deej knows what's going on. It looks like a little bit of it just wasn't a good little section for Bungie, and I have a lot of faith in Bungie rebounding from what they do, because they always do. I mean, these are the guys that made Halo, man. Like, if anyone can do it, they can do it.
It's so easy to hate on Destiny right now, but all the hate it gets. I mean, what if Activision came out with a publicated article that said Destiny 2's canceled? What if that happened?
I would just be like, well, that's the end.
That's the end.
It is, man.
I would probably cry, to be honest, because I know Destiny has that potential to be one of the greatest games ever.
Yeah, it has so much potential. It grabbed me unlike anything's ever grabbed me when I was in my prime of loving that game. When you realize the potential for that game, dude, it'll grab you, and it will not let you go until you realize that there's an end to what you're playing. And that end is a brutal, hard, terrible, very time-consuming end that's going to just make you get a lot of no sleep and not a lot of gratification.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well, see, with year one, I mean, it came down to me having the Hawk Moon, and that was basically the last piece of gear that I really wanted or needed, and that's what I played for.
Yep, I remember
And I
that.
did continue playing through the end of year one, but that's just one piece of gear. I didn't care what it rolled at. I didn't care. I just wanted it.
Wanted it because you needed it.
See, here's the thing. I mean, I've said it before, but when you force people to roll a single piece of gear and then force them to roll it 900 times for a specific number to increase their light level, it's just not good.
Yeah, but
So, would you say that it's a step in the right direction to ask the community?
I think that it's probably a good step. Like, it's kind of like I don't really care, and a lot of people do this whole thing. It's also I kind of see it as a form of, it's not strength. Like, they kind of look weak. They're asking their community, what are we doing wrong, and how can we help you? Instead, just create something that you know that they're going to like, and just, like, let them like you again. That's just my opinion. I mean, I could sound like an
So in
idiot,
your
but
eyes, you're not looking at it as a way of fixing the problem. You're looking at it as if they don't know how to fix the problem and need us to do it for them.
Yeah, they're the professionals.
Interesting.
They should know how to create the best game for us. Who we give them we give them a little criticism. We have no idea what we're talking about. We're just gamers. They're the professionals. They create the game, put something cool out, and it's going to make the community happy again. That's what I think.
I agree in some forms, but I do think that a game based so heavily upon the community like Destiny is, and for a while there, I would have argued with anyone in this world that Destiny's community was one of the strongest and most positive communities in gaming, period.
Yeah.
And it's simply just turned sour, and it's going to sound ugly when I say this, but it's absolutely Bungie's fault that it turned this way. The lack of content, the sneakiness of slipping in skill-based matchmaking and then lying blatantly about it to the community. It's just violated a level of trust, and everybody's salty, to be totally honest. And I love Bungie, but it's their fault.
Yeah.
Period.
100% agree. Well, as much as I'd love to talk about Bungie and how terrible they've been acting recently, let's continue on to another sore subject of ours. We're not that negative, I promise, people.
We're not negative, but these are things that are relevant to gaming and games we love, and it could be part of a solution one day. Who knows?
Exactly. So, microtransactions. We're going to talk a little bit about the current state of them, kind of our opinion on them, and what they're doing to video games right now. So let me just give you guys the description of what microtransactions are if you have no idea what they mean. It's a business model where users can purchase virtual goods via micropayments. Microtransactions are often used in free-to-play games to provide revenue source for the developers. So microtransactions, it's just how it sounds. It's purchasing pretty much fake things inside of a video game. For instance, the game Clash of Clans that Travis was talking about earlier. It's a very good example. Clash of Clans is a free game to download on your mobile device, but you basically get these gems, and you can get to a certain point where you're just doing great, but there's a cap pretty much to the point where it's like, well, you're not going to get much further unless you're either playing the game 24/7, really good at the game, or purchase microtransaction gems, which help you, continue in the game, get higher level, town hall, this, that. It's in everything, right, Travis? Like, this isn't all this is like in every game these days. Like, you don't find.
And what's insane though is games. There are people out there that love Clash of Clans. I, in some degrees, love Clash of Clans. It's when I'm not checking social media and when I'm not playing video games, if I'm sitting there just chilling, watching Netflix with the lady, you can bet yourself that I'm playing Clash of Clans and trying to do some raids.
Yeah.
But there are also a group of people out there that absolutely hate everything about microtransactions, and I'm on the fence, certainly.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely in everything, whether it's Call of Duty or whether it's a cell phone game.
Yeah, and it specifically started, like, a lot of it is known to have started from cell phone games. you know, for instance, Candy Crush. Like there's
Mm.
tons of microtransactions on that game. There's all these free to play games. But now it's got, just like we said, it's gotten to Call of Duty, it's gotten to Assassin's Creed, it's gotten to GTA, it's in everything. I mean, in GTA you can spend up to like 100 and something bucks on shark cards to get 1 million fake dollars in the game. You know, it's it's insane because this is really only insane because Travis and I have kind of witnessed the growth of microtransactions over the last, 10 years. You know, video games didn't used to have microtransactions in them, believe it or not. If you wanted to get certain gear, if you wanted to unlock certain levels, certain characters, you grinded through the game, you beat the game, and it was extremely hard things to beat. Keep it at that. And you got rewarded for the game play that you did. And now it's like, all right, I don't have time to play Destiny, so I'm gonna buy this pack, and I can just be level 25 immediately and skip all this content and just get right into this next part of content. Like, I don't know about you, but that just doesn't sound like what gaming needs to be. It doesn't sound positive. It just sounds like gaming is turned a lot towards the money. It's about the money.
Yeah,
It's about the money. It's about the money. I mean,
absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, that's one topic to argue about and discuss all on its own. I understand why the free to play games are microtransaction oriented.
mm-hmm.
That is their source of income. That is how they pay their developers. That is how they produce more content for their players.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it's absolutely true. When you got a game that you have to pay $60 for, like Destiny or like Call of Duty, and they still have microtransactions, it just feels a little bit greedy.
Yes.
And think about this, since we're on the Bungie train here. When Bungie first released Destiny, almost 2 years ago,
Yeah.
they didn't release the Vault of Glass for a month. I feel like it was close to a month, and that's partly because nobody would have been level 26 or whatever you had to be to enter the Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
So back then, it was okay to force players to grind up to a certain level. But now that there are players that have lagged behind and the level cap is now at 40 instead of 20 or whatever it was back then, I just don't. They don't connect the dots to me. It just seems like a cash grab.
Yeah, it doesn't make
for those
sense.
new players.
No, yeah.
And
100% agree, man. Like it's a cash grab, and that's just what it is these days. This is what it is, in my opinion. Developers are creating half-built games. The other half of it's DLC. The next half of it's built-in microtransaction-wise, and they're releasing to you for $60, which is not like, people act like that's not that much money. That's still a pretty large amount of money to be purchasing something that's just a virtual reality. This isn't even a real thing. It's a disc that goes into a drive, and we use our eyeballs to play this fake thing that literally does nothing but make us happy. And inside of that, we are getting half of a game, which you can purchase for $50 more, the second half of the game. And then if you want the cool things that come with the game, you can purchase them for $15 in the PlayStation store. And then if you want the cool sounds that come with those cool things, you can purchase them for $1.99 on your app in your phone or something. Like, that's just my opinion. I know that sounds harsh, but come on.
no, that is where gaming's at today. And on the subject of microtransactions, where do you sit there? I mean, like I said, I'm on the fence. When it comes to the free-to-play game Clash of Clans, sure, it makes me a little bit sore that you know as well as I do that I've put like 3 solid years of time into Clash of Clans.
Yes, yeah, I put 2, and then I hit that point I talked about earlier. You know?
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, I am a casual gamer. I don't have tons of money to waste on microtransactions. So somebody listening to this Cluecast right now that has never played Clash of Clans in their life, if you're a millionaire, for example, hypothetically speaking, you could buy Clash of Clans microtransactions and have a better town hall and be better than me in a day.
In a day, yeah. You could have everything in a day. Literally, you could have everything in a day.
That's where soreness from communities come from when it comes to microtransactions. That's just a tiny little example of where that saltiness can come from.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, games back in the day, when you got through gameplay and you were rewarded and it was a tough grind, you got that piece of gear. It was something you wore proudly, but in today's games, oftentimes they got it out of a paid transaction.
Mm-hmm.
They got it for free within 2 seconds, and it just doesn't seem fair.
Exactly. Like, I'll give you an example. Back when I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Spider-Man was a character you could unlock, and there's a bunch of different characters. Dude, I grinded hours to get those dudes unlocked. When I got them unlocked, best feeling. Honestly, I haven't had a feeling like that since in years. And then think about this. Now, in Call of Duty Ghosts a couple years ago, my favorite weapon in the game, the Maverick, you had to buy it. You had to buy the DLC or else you couldn't use it. And that's like one of the best games in the gun. And it's literally a purchase to win, which I know we talked about last night, Travis. This is off the record, everyone. We talked about this while we were playing, and I kind of was at a different point last night, and that's because I almost got killed because there was glass in my pickles that I was eating. So I was in a different state of mind. But, like, I know you have a strong feeling about this. Paying to win games, essentially, by microtransactions.
Yeah, back when I think Black Ops 2 was the first Call of Duty that introduced a new gun that was debatably something that might have the potential to give a player the upper hand who paid $15 for the map pack over players who don't want to pay for the map pack. So in my opinion, I don't think that gun was overpowered. I thought it was sort of run-of-the-mill, and it was really cool that they introduced a new gun. And for the purpose of introducing a new gun to spice up and spruce up the content, I'm down for that. Advanced Warfare took a step higher. They overdid it a little bit.
Yes.
You literally, I never unlocked, the Bow Obsidian Steed.
Me neither. I always wanted
the AK-47 RIP. Some of these crazy gun variants that it's unstoppable.
Yes.
And those people that paid for supply drops to get those literally would smoke my ham. Shug Dot. Shout out to Shug Dot. Would smoke my ham, and I never. I'm good at Call of Duty, okay?
Yes, he's very good.
I didn't feel like it was cool to be having my ham smoked by kids who were paying $5 per supply drop or whatever. I have no idea. I never bought one. I never purchased the first one.
Yeah,
it's part of the reason why I quit playing Advanced Warfare.
Exactly.
So what you're talking about, the Maverick was like an AR, and I think there was a version of the Maverick that
was a sniper.
A sniper.
Yeah.
Which was the first thing we'd ever seen in Call of Duty, and it was produced by Infinity Ward for Call of Duty Ghosts. That was the first gun that arguably started giving people the upper hand. That, in my opinion, although it wasn't the first new gun to be introduced as a microtransaction, which you could argue with us whether or not a DLC drop is a microtransaction, but in my opinion, it is. It qualifies.
Yeah.
The Peacekeeper was not the gun that felt like pay to win. The Maverick was or even the Ripper from Infinity Ward.
Oh gosh, the Ripper, man! I never got to use it because I didn't buy it, but I got destroyed by that thing all the time, man.
Dude, I think the first Call of Duty gameplay I ever uploaded to my Facebook was on Stonehaven, and I was showing off how OP that SMG was, and then I'd switch it to an AR and kill somebody literally across Stonehaven, which, if you don't remember Stonehaven, it was a big map.
Yes, it was.
And I would kill people all the way across that thing. And that just goes to show you, I would have that kind of upper hand on somebody that didn't pay for that gun.
Yeah. So, to get back to the main point, microtransactions, man. They've changed gaming. They can be good, though. I mean, if you think of it in the terms of in Ghosts, there's just the fun things that you could buy that, I know that they wouldn't want to just waste their time putting a game, like the Snoop Dogg voice, or
that was hilarious.
Exactly. So that's
so funny.
That's the stuff that I agree with. I'm like, yeah, man, that stuff's fun. I don't I mean, if I really wanted to buy it, I'd buy it, but it's not something that it's like, oh, I really needed to have that special voice. You know what I mean? It's just add-ons. And I think that's where they started with this. It used to be slow. It was just add-ons that came with games, like stuff that, like in Assassin's Creed, you could buy like different outfits, or in in different games you could just buy those different add-ons. Now it's like you can buy the like finished product. That's just my salty opinion on it, at least. But Travis, let me ask you this: is microtransactions a good thing, or is it a bad thing? You tell me.
Man, you're putting me on the spot with this one. Like I said, I'm on the fence, and I guess I'm gonna ask two questions. The first question,
you're gonna ask me a question. You're rebuttaling me.
Everybody, leave it in the comments below. What do you think? As someone on the fence, I'd ask, for somebody like Destiny, or even somebody like the developers of Clash of Clans, Supercell. Let's put Bungie and Supercell next to each other.
Okay.
Supercell makes all their revenue off microtransactions. They depend on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes me salty that somebody could have a Town Hall 9 tomorrow that had never played the game. But I understand that that's a microtransaction game. That's what I signed up for.
Yeah, it says it. I mean, it says it when you download it. In-app purchases, possibly.
Yes. Now, something like Bungie, and them saying that they might be coming out with microtransactions. Well, not might. They have, with the emotes and the Eververse, and even the level 25 character pack. That's something that they justify by saying, okay, we're not going to have DLCs where you spend $20 to $25 on with a new raid and a new set of content and a huge update. Instead, we're going to take this money from microtransactions and give you free content, which I'm still looking for.
Yeah, I have no idea where it is. I mean,
yeah, where's that stuff?
Yeah.
Crimson Doubles, are you kidding? Anyway, getting off topic. Those two things, I think it's justifiable. If Bungie made enough money to create free content that we want, so be it. I think that's fine. It's a good thing, as long as people aren't given an upper hand in a pay-to-win atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
As long as somebody who just picked up Destiny can't be a 320 before me, and I've poured 2 years into it.
Yeah.
And now in Call of Duty, I'm going to have to say it's entirely different. Call of Duty makes a ton of money, and I'm not saying this in a way that I don't think Call of Duty should have microtransactions, because if it's purely cosmetic, like so far Black Ops 3 for the most part has been purely cosmetic microtransactions with their supply drops, I'm totally down. The wrench, the butterfly knife, and the brass knuckles are new weapons that were added and are more easily attainable if you purchase COD points for supply drops.
Yeah, because I've never got one in anything.
I was lucky enough to drop, because I still don't buy those things because I just don't have the money to waste on microtransactions. For those of you, I'm not shaming you. That's awesome. Go ahead, continue doing that.
If that's what you want to spend your money on, we are not judging you.
If you want to go around hitting people in the head with a wrench on Call of Duty, that's not going to give you an upper hand when I'm sitting there running around with a KN-44 with 5 attachments on it,
mm-hmm.
and I'm sound whoring you. You're having fun. That's cool. It's cosmetic. It doesn't give you an upper hand. That is where microtransactions should be for Call of Duty. So my final answer to your question isn't that microtransactions is a good or a bad thing. I just think it has a time and a place, and a developer needs to recognize that time and place and how they handle it, because they can get it out of hand really quickly and piss off a lot of people.
Yeah. I think you just summed it up great. Like you drop the mic. That's it. Podcast over. Just kidding.
No, we got to talk about story modes.
Story modes. Let's start that. So everyone loves a good story mode, right? Am I right?
Absolutely.
So let me start. Like, what's your favorite story in a video game ever? Like, I know that's a pretty crazy question, but if you could think of it.
Absolutely crazy.
Like, try and think of the best one.
There are games that have brought a tear before. I'm not gonna lie.
A tear?
Yeah, there have been games like that. Oh, it was a good game. And what's sad is I can't even remember the name of it. That burns me up. But in recent memory, and what's coming to my mind right now is absolutely The Witcher 3. Hands down, best story. One of the best stories I've ever played. What about you?
Probably Tack and the Power of Juju.
Tack and the Power of Juju.
I'm just kidding. Have you ever played that?
No, but I remember hearing about it, but it was just never one of those games I picked up.
Brilliant game. But anyways, no, my favorite game is favorite story mode in a game. And I have lots of favorite story modes, so this is just like specifically because it's based story mode. It is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. It's by far my favorite story. I think about it still. I was thinking about it this week, man. If I see boats and stuff, I was there on Call of Duty at night with Captain Price. It happened.
That was fun too.
Yeah, so,
So, anybody listening right now, they're like, well, these guys are diverse for sure because The Witcher is entirely different. And I know everybody's sitting there saying, wait, Nemesis or Travis Crawford. That's a third-person game. How's that your favorite story?
They're like, I thought your favorite game was Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I thought that was your favorite game.
No, The Witcher was great. And so anybody listening is going to quickly pick up on these are two completely different stories in both their deliverance and their gameplay. So why is Call of Duty Modern Warfare
my favorite game?
Yes.
So this is a good way to start this conversation because I want everyone to understand what I think of great story is and what you think a great story is. So for me, it comes down to a few things. It comes down to actor performance, number one, how everyone's gonna perform just like a movie would. Number two, emotional drive. Like I want to be able to feel emotionally attached to this game, to these characters. Number three, does it blow my mind graphically or it doesn't have to be graphically, honestly, but that helps. But graphically or is there giant explosions? Is there crazy things that happens? Are there twists? And the last one is the overall, build of the story. Does it have does it make sense or does it not make sense? Or does it have that perfect clarity that just feels right? And that is what I think is the most important thing. Is it complete? You know what I mean? Does it have a start and does it have an end? Or does it have a start and does it have a cliffhanger? Or is it a bad story and it has a start or it starts in the middle and it goes backwards? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, with the game that you provided as your favorite story, fun has to be a part of that because I remember the campaign for COD 4 Modern Warfare, and fun is just the definition of it.
Yes.
It was just fun, period.
It is so fun, so new, so crisp. And I think a lot of stories, too, is if the story's new, if it's something that's not been mimicked, if it's something that I can experience and feel like I've never experienced it before, by far going to be a great game.
Cough, Battlefield Hardline.
Best game ever. Never heard it.
That's a fine example, and it's a strengthening piece of evidence to support your argument here that, one of the things you find important in a new story, in a new video game, is originality and freshness.
Yes.
When Battlefield Hardline tries to give us a CSI Miami feeling game, we've seen the show, okay? I don't need to play a video game.
That game, you could literally probably take some clips from CSI Miami and it would be the exact same thing as the game.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing original to it. It's just a poorly rendered cops and robbers with a couple of TV cut clips.
Exactly. So I gave my input on this to start. Why is The Witcher 3 your favorite story? What makes a story good to you?
Well, if you haven't checked that out already, I made a video earlier this week about the Division beta, and one of the things I used as a piece of evidence to my concern for the story for the Division is the lack of character development and the lack of emotional attachment that I felt to the characters. Mm-hmm. And that is something that is super important to me when it comes to a good story game. If I am not interested in the character, if I don't feel emotionally connected, like I care, like I know it's dumb to say that I care about a character, but
It's not dumb.
I,
It's part of the
some
game, you
people
know.
might look at that as something that's dumb, but in The Witcher, I literally cared what happened to Geralt next. I cared about the decisions he had to make. I cared about Ciri and what was happening to her, and I was worried about her honestly through the game up until the point where, yeah, I'm not trying to drop any spoilers for anybody that hasn't played it. You just need to play it. It does very well in dialogue and voice acting, and there's tons and tons of variety in voices, which was awesome. Gameplay mechanics were great. And another thing The Witcher did really well that I think other developers ought to take notes from is mixing in, like, this is hard to explain because I don't know the technical term for what I'm trying to say, but you ever see like a cutscene that is just 10 times better, graphically speaking, than the actual gameplay?
Yeah, like anything that comes out before a game.
Yeah, well, The Witcher, a lot of its cutscenes are actual, like the actual graphics of gameplay, which makes seamless transitions from gameplay to dialogue to cutscenes to
Yeah,
dialogue
that's
to
how.
gameplay.
Hmm.
It just felt like a smooth story.
Yep.
Whereas you have a game like, I know I haven't played it, but I've watched reviews, and the reviews are honestly the reason I never picked it up. And this was something I was super excited about a couple years ago, was The Order of 1886, which was billed as a story game. Like, it's a campaign. I was like, oh, nice, a new story. And it's basically just like real-time action scenes with cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. You know what real-time is? Like when you're in a boss fight and you have to hit square.
Yeah.
Sort of like God
Yeah,
of War
yes.
back in the day. Which, apples to oranges, God
It's
of War
like-
was awesome. Order of 1886 was... It looked terrible.
It's like being on a roller coaster and you just have to, put your hands up when it says put your hands up. But it's pretty much
Yeah.
moving you through the whole time.
And it feels terrible. So I think a good solid mixture of cutscenes, and if you're going to give me a cutscene, make sure it's well placed and it's just not pointless. And I don't know, that's a poorly worded way to tell you what I think is a good story. But basically,
it makes sense, man.
yeah, I mean, character development, I want to know about the character and give me a reason to be attached to them. Like Jason Brody from Far Cry, was that his name? Brody?
I have no idea.
From Far Cry 3?
Can't remember.
That's completely off memory. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave it in the comments below if it's for
No,
YouTube.
don't correct us. It'll make us look stupid.
No, sometimes, whatever. I don't care.
Put in
But you
the,
know
put in the
what I
comments
mean. You know
below.
what I mean.
Is Travis right
Would you-
or is Luke right? I'm just kidding.
Would you watch The Walking Dead that's coming out here in a couple weeks? It's actually Valentine's Day weekend, isn't it?
Yes.
It comes out. Would you watch it if you didn't care about Jessica and her kid and Rick getting out of that house?
Dude, I would.
If you
Bro.
didn't care about those
Bro.
people and the fact that they were about to get eaten by zombies, would you watch that show?
I don't. I'm not. I can't even answer you.
I'm just
Listen,
saying, character development is
It's insane.
key in a good
especially,
story to me.
Especially, this is off topic. I want to watch that even more because I've read the comic. Like, this is about to be. I just can't. I'm not even gonna talk. I'm just so excited. I'm speechless.
Well, that reminds me of something else that it just completely derailed my train of thought. But like Destiny,
Screw Destiny, everyone.
the terrible story. It's like, hey, Guardians, we got you a story. Okay, you just got to go to Bungie.net and read it.
You just got to go read it. Yeah, it's a book.
We didn't put it in the game for you.
Oh yeah, gamers, you guys who like to play visual stories. Yeah, come read this book. It tells you the whole story, and then come play this game. It might help you out.
So yeah, that's like whenever we say that today in today's gaming community / world, single player stories are something that feels like it's fading because of games like Destiny, and this is going to seem off topic too, but Bloodborne and the Dark Souls games, I played them and I thoroughly enjoy the gameplay and grinding and leveling up and trying to overcome challenges. But there's literally I'm dumb when it comes to the lore in those Soulsian games. I just don't. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
and I'd like to see more games like The Last of Us
Mm-hmm.
or Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
Just I just want to see more story, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, that's like the main reason we're talking about this is because games right now, like this kind of goes back and forth with microtransactions. You know, like Destiny doesn't have a full story. The Division, we don't know yet, but from what we've found out so far, I'm kind of scared that it doesn't have a full story. Battlefield Hardline didn't really have a full story. Any Battlefield game, other than Bad Company 2, has a pretty terrible story, and that's all been within the last 10 years. Call of Duty's stories, they're okay nowadays. I think they like hit their peak around the Modern Warfare days. I mean, come on, you did World War 3. That's pretty sweet. I don't know, a lot of people didn't
Yeah,
like that game.
it's honestly getting real old with the Call of Duty. Like, you are trained by your mentor, and your mentor betrays you. I'm getting
Yes.
sick of seeing it.
Yes, and then the house blows up and you fall down 68 stories and you kind of are dizzy and then you're fine. And then it
Yeah,
happens again. And then it happens again. But anyways, so like a lot of these games, even Assassin's Creed for instance, one of the most diverse stories that I've ever played in my life. The
agreed.
last four games, they've completely derailed themselves from what they were doing. Like
Yeah, they
Sa-
dropped the ball big time.
Assassin's Creed 3 was around 2012 when the world was supposed to end, and they based the story about that. And Desmond, something happens to Desmond. After that, that storyline that we were hitting, it's either still there, they're just not really explaining it very well, or they're just like these games right now are just like money making games while they're creating the finished story games somewhere and some.
That's a perfect way to support what everything I just said that makes a story to me too. Like, I guess at some degree, most people don't play Assassin's Creed games for the story. They play it for the parkour and the mechanics and how fun and pleasing it is to move through cities and
And be
be an
stealthy.
assassin.
Yeah.
To be a stealthy assassin, you just feel like a bad man,
Yes,
honestly.
exactly.
But for me, when Desmond died or whatever happened to him in Assassin's Creed 3, that's Connor's story for those of you who do not know that. I played Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 4, ready to find out what happened.
What happened next?
For
Exactly.
Desmond.
Same. I was like, yes, we like it was one of the biggest cliffhangers of almost
So
any video game, honestly.
exactly. So when I found out that they changed the story outside of the Animus, you lost me. You lost me, Ubisoft.
Yeah, it was like we're at a production company. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I haven't purchased an Assassin's Creed game since. And that's a shame because I loved those games. But they screwed up. I don't care about your story anymore. I just don't.
Yeah,
At
and
all.
and I can attest. I've played Unity right after 4. Literally was the most confusing game I've maybe ever played in the Assassin's Creed series. And then I have Syndicate now, and Syndicate's really good gameplay wise. The map, the world is it's amazing. The story so far has been pretty cool, but the story outside the Animus still it literally makes no sense. Like I have to finish it, so maybe it's amazing. Maybe I need to finish it, but drop the ball. So but don't get us wrong. There's still a lot of stories that have been made really right. Like Rockstar, they do not screw around when it comes to story mode. Red Dead Redemptions came out in the last, 5 years. GTA 4, great story. GTA 5, masterpiece, one of the best stories ever. Um, they don't mess around when it comes to that
Dude,
stuff.
when GTA 5 was new, they introduced see, I haven't played GTA in what, a year?
Yeah.
And I still Franklin, Michael, Trevor, I loved those characters.
Amazing. And it was one of the first times you could play as 3 characters whenever you wanted. They were all in the world doing something random. All you had to do was click the D-pad and boom, you're at Trevor or you're at Franklin. So that's what Rockstar, they don't drop the ball on this stuff. And I have a large feeling the next GTA game is going to be epic. The next Red Dead game, if there is one, is going to be epic. If there's a Bully remake, it's going to be epic because they know how to make a story and they know what they're doing. And same with them. I mean, there's stories like the Uncharted series that's been out in the last few years. Amazing. They know how to tell a story. So it's not like people aren't doing well. It's just a lot of the big third-party developers are killing it because that's all you see in the gaming industry. You see the Call of Duties, you see the Assassin's Creed, you see the this, the that. You don't see stuff like
Exactly.
you don't see the indie games that have ridiculously good stories without even microtransactions. You don't see it. I mean, you see Rockstar, but that's just a given. Everyone knows Rockstar makes great games. But you see like Halo 5, terrible story, freaking terrible story. Are you kidding me? Like, it's sad, and we'll see. We'll see if Gears of War 4 has a good story. I mean, it's just like right now we're at a time where it's like it's either going to be good, and we've already talked about this tonight. We've talked about the money, and we've talked about, we have actually talked about this. The main question of, is this our problem that there's not great stories, or is it the company's problem that there's not good stories? Is it because we consistently complain about not having co-op, not having multiplayer, not having lots of extra functions compared to a story, or is it the company just doesn't want to put out a story?
Realistically, the answer is probably a mixture of both, I would say.
That makes sense, because this day and age of gaming, which we are a part of, a lot of people love online all the time co-op. Like, they want to be able to play a story with a friend, which is fine, but that's making game developers go above and beyond by saying, hey, let's just make the game always online. Oh, and the best way to play it is if you're playing with friends. Like, I think that's a great option, but it's got to be able to be just as fun when you're playing by yourself, just because not everyone in the world has friends to play with. Not everyone in the world can play online because a lot of people don't have internet, surprisingly.
That's very true. Very true. I used to be one of those people before. I mean, it was probably in the middle of Modern Warfare 2 the first time I ever played an online match of anything.
Yeah.
Everything was literally done on split screen for my multiplayer with my little brothers. And I yearned for stories back then. And I, for the most part, had them before that. And I felt like every game was that way. So what we're saying here, I mean, we're not saying that there's no such thing as a great story in today's new video games. Well, I guess we're just sort of fearful that more and more games are leaning towards the MMO online RPG experience, where they sort of half-heartedly put together a story just to say
just
they
to
got
say
a story.
It's there. Yeah, exactly. Just to say that, so they can say there's 5 games in this one game. They're obsessed with doing that. They're obsessed with doing that.
And it's a joke, and everybody knows it's a joke. I guess that's what we're worried about.
Yeah, we're worried about the future.
That being a trend in the future. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I know what I want to see from the future of this. I want to see developers take a way bigger look on making sure that they focus on the story, they use promotions for the story, and that, I just want some developers to create a good story, and I hope that continues to happen in the future. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's what I'm hoping for. What are you hoping for?
I mean, basically the same thing. We all just want a good story. I just want... It's difficult for me. I feel like I sound like a whiny gamer. I'm just a whiny baby.
We are. We're all whiny babies.
I'm just sitting here nagging about what I don't have. Well, they put themselves out there to be criticized, and anything I say as a whiny gamer or a big baby, whatever you want to call me, it's literally things that could make their games better. Like yes. Destiny, for example. I know I come back to Destiny, but the story was inexcusably terrible. And they want to brag about this awesome lore that's behind it and all the cool things that they have in store for people at Bungie.net. Seriously, just delay the game 2 more freaking years.
Yeah,
make
real.
That in the game, sell it to us in the game, and don't tell us about the garbage you have online for us to read. Just put it in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, all we need in terms of story games is to go to work and be thinking about what is happening next in the story when you get home. What's the next part? What's the next thing that's going to happen? It's honestly like a transportation of audience. Whenever I play Skyrim, I feel like I'm in a different world. And it's just something that's missing, I think.
100% agree. Well, Travis, that was a great conversation, and I thank you for talking with me and everybody tonight about, microtransactions, Destiny, and a lot of things that we're not super unhappy about, but we're concerned about. We're concerned gamers. I mean, we want the best for gaming in the future. We want it to just be known as fun and something that takes us to a different world, basically, a virtual world. We don't want it to be about, oh, this game's out because everyone has it and then it'll make somebody money. We want to play because it's fun.
Exactly, fun, and it's a form of stress relief. It doesn't matter who you are, or what you say, or what you think about video games. When you're stressed out about bills, etc., etc., video games are an excellent way to communicate with friends and experience a story and forget about some of the things that's going on.
Exactly. All right, man. Well, anyways, that's about all the time we have tonight. Went a little bit longer than normal, but it's all about the talk. So,
Hey, good talking with you, man.
Yeah, so check us out, Clueless Gamers. We're on Facebook. You can just search Clueless Gamers. You can follow us and tweet at us on Twitter at Clueless Gamers 2. Or you can just subscribe, smash that subscribe button here on YouTube, listen to us on SoundCloud, and like our videos, share our videos. We appreciate it. We appreciate any support you give us. We love the heck out of you. I love you, Travis. You support me. You support us. You retweet every tweet. I retweet every tweet. So I'm thankful for us as well because we're supporting ourselves.
Yep, we're here having a good time.
Yeah, we are. We're just here to have a good time and hopefully make someone's night happy.
Yep. Everybody's feedback's great. Do appreciate it for certain.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have. Until next week, you beautiful Clueless gamers. I love you.